Things Podcast. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things Podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I am your host, Dave, and as I sit here waiting to record another episode of the Needless Things Podcast, I figured I would go ahead and record the intro for this week's episode, since it's going up in less than 12 hours. No, wait. No, 14 hours. Look, I'm on days, you know how I get. I don't know what's going on right now. As a matter of fact, I might even be talking to my interview subjects and don't even know it. No, that's not happening. You guys, I'm excited about Dragon Con, which, by the way, is the interview that I'm waiting to start with a couple of track directors. I don't want to get too specific about the two track directors that are interviewing together that I'm waiting for. So I'll just move on now. Anyway, this week's episode is the second part of our San Diego Comic-Con coverage. This time we are going to talk about the toys. This is the big episode. Ryan and Jay are back, and Mr. Beau Brown has a special segment where we're going to discuss what's going on with Masters of the Universe. And you know how those go. Lots of information, you guys, but we had fun. We had a lot of fun talking about it because it was, when there's not as much stuff, it's almost more fun because you can kind of look at a bunch of different things, which we do. So you're going to enjoy that. You're going to enjoy the main conversation where we talk about NECA and Hasbro and Mattel and everybody else. Just a good, fun episode. The kind of stuff that Needless Things really cut its teeth on. But before we get to all that, I want to mention that last week in the theater, we saw a movie that could have been terrible, but wasn't, and that is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Now, my family is a big fan of Teen Titans Go, the cartoon. I know a lot of people weren't able to adjust to it after the disappointment of the old Teen Titans show going away, but we enjoy the comedy. I think, much like Batman, there are lots of different ways you can portray these characters. And as we saw last week, there are even darker ways than Young Justice or the original Teen Titans cartoon has portrayed them. We'll see how that turns out. I'm optimistic still. I'm on the side of I think it's going to be it'll all work out. But we went and saw Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and it was hilarious. We thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked it, and look, here's my hot take. I enjoyed it more than Incredibles 2. I'm not going to lie. It's just a fun movie. It actually does have a story. It's not as random as the individual episodes, although it does still have that humor and does still have that bizarre wackiness. The voice work is tremendous. Everything feels cinematic. The animation, obviously, is better. It's big. They go to the movies. Like, it works. It all works. And Will Arnett is tremendous as Slade. And it's also very funny that the guy that is Lego Batman is also Slade. Especially considering the incredible story of Deathstroke versus Batman that Christopher Priest is telling in the Deathstroke comic right now. And if you're not reading it, I don't know what's wrong with you, quite frankly. Go see Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I don't even know how it did at the box office. I haven't looked, but I hope it did really well, and I hope maybe we can see future animated movies. And there is, I won't say what it is, but there is a little teaser after the credits that is very, very, very exciting. And if Teen Titans Go to the Movies does as well as I think it'll probably do, having come out like a week before school gets back in most places. So everybody's kind of like ready, like let's get the rest of our fun stuff in. But there's a teaser for something very exciting that I hope comes to fruition and maybe could come to movie theaters or to the DC Universe streaming service. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, Dragon Con right around the corner. I got my schedule today, and it's amazing. I can't wait to share it with you guys, but I'm going to wait to share it with you guys because there are two conflicts that are upsetting in very different ways that I am hoping to have resolved. We'll see how they go, and I'm not going to announce anything until I have a yes or no on those things. I will announce, though, that something that was supposedly going to happen last year is currently scheduled this year, not just once, but twice. Some of you may be able to figure out what that is. Some of you, maybe don't even care that much and are like, look, I can wait a week or two to find out, Dave. We're not going to play your little mystery game here. And that's fine, too. I don't expect anybody to play along with any of my nonsense, ever. I do my own thing, and if you enjoy it, that's great. And if you're like, all right, let's get to the Comic-Con stuff, that's okay, too. It's fine. And look, we're going to get there in just a second. So if you're ready for Dragon Con coverage, because look, we're less than a month out at this point. I'm doing less Dragon Con episodes than I normally do just because of the way things fell and because of the glorious opportunity that presented itself that you will find out about in next week's episode, which is a very, very special interview that I'm so excited for everybody to hear. So you're still getting 3 Dragon Con episodes, and you're getting Dragon Con coverage on the site. I posted my write-up of the progress report on Monday. On Thursday, Jerry posted a really cool, or the first part of a really cool series he's going to be doing about things you can do in Atlanta during Dragon Con, like things around Dragon Con. Because, look, this is the issue I've run into. I've been writing about Dragon Con for like 9 years now, and you can talk about it all day long because there are different things to talk about with different people, whatever. But as far as writing as an individual, you just run out of stuff to say. How many times can I tell you guys to hydrate, and that if you're not peeing every hour, you're dehydrated? I don't know. I say it every year. I don't know if you guys listen or not. Hopefully you're not walking around with hangnails and dry skin and feeling all terrible. But anyway, Dragon Con stuff going on Needless Things, still here. We don't do the 30 straight days of anything like we used to because I just don't have it in me anymore. But we can still get excited about things, and we can still provide coverage and opinions and insights that you're not going to find anywhere else on the web. We do not curate Twitter here at Needless Things. That is not what we do. We don't go to Vanity Fair and then rehash their big interview with whoever. One last thing I want to mention before we get to the show itself. I have gotten a little bit of pushback from mine and Beth's opinions on the James Gunn situation, and I just, I understand. I'm for anybody that does not agree with me, I'm not mad at you at all. It's a sensitive topic, and I understand that, my parents would not agree with me. My sister probably would not agree with me. And I've certainly seen some folks online that I was surprised at the vehemence with which they expressed an opinion that opposes mine. I was quite surprised. So, and these are people who I wouldn't have, I wouldn't necessarily have thought, oh yeah, they're as 100% as in agreement with me, but surprised that they were as firmly set on shooting James Gunn into the sun as certain trash bag parties want them to be, for lack of a better way to phrase that. So anyway, look, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, and we all, a guy on Instagram that I don't even know commented on a picture I put up and said that he thinks James Gunn is just as bad as Kevin Spacey and Bill Cosby, and that he's hurt innocent people, and I don't understand that because those are alleged rapists and molesters, and nobody reasonable is alleging that James Gunn has actually raped or molested anyone. They're just not, and I think it's insane that thought is out there. Look, I'm going on too long about this thing, but it's a current event. It's ongoing, and it's something that has polarized the fan community, and it's something a little more significant than just whether or not a movie is good. It is about weaponizing somebody's past against them to achieve political goals. And about whether or not you have provided weapons in your past for people to use against you. More on this later, probably. I hate it. I wish it wasn't a thing, but it's a thing. But now, here's a better, happier thing. First, we're going to sit down with Mr. Beau Brown, and we're going to talk about Masters of the Universe and what the heck is going on with the toys and shirts and rugs and Snake Mountain in 2018. Enjoy.
I do want to talk about that plaid shirt, though.
What happened with that? I know what it is, but what?
It's like $125.
Yeah, dude, the prices on some of this, like Super 7's prices, are ridiculous in many instances.
I get it. It's like they made a deal. They did a cross promotion with like a fancy designer shirt label, and apparel is one of the things they do. But $195 for a fucking shirt?
Oh, it's $195?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
$195 for a shirt.
Yeah, that's absurd.
And I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, I'd wear that to work. That's
sure.
Awesome. It's like stealth. It's like Stealth Geek. I love it.
But
not
you
for fucking $195.
Because as soon as you spill something on it, you're
done.
Well,
I'll spend that $195 on that bitchin' ass fucking rug is what I'm going to get.
Oof, that's more reasonable, but still crazy pants.
No, it's not. I mean, $195 for a rug is normal. Is like a reasonable price.
I spent $20 on a rug. Shirt? I spent $20 on a rug.
But you can buy a rug for $200.
I will draw monsters on a rug. On a $20 rug.
Give me a Sharpie and an IKEA rug. Let's make this shit happen.
No, but it is nice. The rug is nice.
Let's drop some acid, get some Sharpies, find some carpet in a dumpster.
You won't even need a rug.
Turn off carpet.
Yeah.
Dumpster dive for some old carpet.
Yeah, we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go. You did. I do think the rug looks badass, but you were right when you said it could be a little brighter.
Yeah, maybe it really maybe it's just like it's faded like the stickers or whatever, but I feel like the colors are really muted.
Yeah.
I wish that they just popped more. We can start with Mattel or we can start with Mondo. What do you think?
Oh yeah, actually let's start with Mondo because I've actually got a little bit more to say about that, and I can get my words out of the way and let you just tear the rest of it up.
All right, cool.
Mondo. When did they first announce that they were doing He-Man stuff? I mean, it's been over a year, right?
I feel like it's been 2 years. We've seen that Skeletor and He-Man for forever.
A long time, and the faces are not getting better. Well, He-Man's face is not getting better, in my opinion.
Well, they also come with multiple heads, so if you don't like those heads, you've got other options.
Yeah, the toy head looks great, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to look great on that body.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
They're just weird, man. I don't like that He-Man has a leather jerkin instead of furry underpants. I don't understand why these semi-realistic design figures are coming with the insane Filmation cartoon animals.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
I'm getting a lot of cognitive dissonance out of these figures.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like the guys working on it were like, oh, we should make this thing that no one's made before. Because they haven't. Those things have those specific creatures have never been included, but they absolutely don't jive. I mean, with the scale, maybe they work with your classics figures, or maybe they're too big. Like that would be the thing. It's like these match the aesthetic of the Filmation of Club Grayskull, but they're scaled at 1/6.
Right.
You know.
It also bothers me that Faker's circuitry panel is hanging out from under his chest wear.
It's not big enough to cover it up. Yeah, but I mean, it's there. But I like the Alcala head. I like the damage. Obviously, the damage Faker head.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the head that Skeletor comes with the posable jaw. I think that looks awesome. He-Man's head, I'm not. It doesn't bother me. And I don't think I've seen the second Merman head, but
no, I haven't either. But
they have a Yeah, I know it comes with two. He's got the sword. He's got his trident. He's got a vintage. He's got the Mondo head, and then a more vintage head like the others. And then Man at Arms is listed but not shown as part of
Merman is what caught my eye. Like that figure looks so nice. The sculpt on the armor, everything. Like if I end up getting any at all, that Merman is tempting me.
I like all. I mean, if the Man at Arms looks as good as the other three, I'm sorely tempted. But $160 a piece is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Well, and also it's pretty brutal. And also I have to consider the fact that I've seen those Mondo Ninja Turtles in person, and they have got some early Matty level quality problems.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like plastic that doesn't match color-wise, joints that are just not nice to look at, just some issues that they may correct by the time these come out. But I mean, this is not the sort of thing that I would order without seeing the one I was buying in person. You know what I mean?
Because I was kind of eyeing that Casey Jones. If I was going to get these guys, I was kind of like, oh, Casey Jones looks pretty good. I'd have something that matches them in scale. But I digress. But yeah, $160. I mean, I get it. They're bigger. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. The paint, and it's a collectible thing. Cosmic Key looks good, but yeah, 160 is tough for me. But I like the idea of them.
Yes, I agree with that.
I like that there's lots of accessories, bigger scale, lots of attention to paint, and making them and a decided attempt to make them look badass.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost like it's almost like a different vision of the 2002 line. Yeah,
it's definitely that, like, let's make a fucking badass barbarian looking He-Man. Let's make a scary fucking looking Skeletor. And I think that they, if they look as good on display as they do in hand, but if you're saying that the Turtles ones look crappy up close, then that does not fill me with hope.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy. And also, I'm not a fan of Mondo. They're very bad about updating customers. Stuff does not ship on time, because I've bought. They did a run of Mad Balls, if you remember, and those things just didn't show up when they were supposed to, and there was no response to, hey, what's going on with these? What is that? I'm not a huge fan. Like, I love the idea of what Mondo does, but in practice, I have found them to be a subpar collectible company.
Sure. Well, that's fair. Good to know. Moving on from Mondo, Mattel did some stuff with He-Man. Yay, Mattel!
Yeah, right?
They did some exclusives. They did a She-Ra tiara. They did a He-Man fanny pack. They did a tote bag, which I don't remember actually seeing what it looked like. Did you see what the tote bag looked like?
I remember seeing a tote bag, but I cannot remember what was on it. And honestly, unless I'm getting it from pledging to a telethon, I'm not interested in tote bags.
Tote bags, right. And then they did a mask 4-pack, like an old school Halloween mask 4-pack.
Yeah, I did see that, and those are very cool.
Yeah, I did think those looked cool.
Mrs. Troublemaker.
Yeah.
You sent the picture of the Monster High style Evil Lynn to
Yes.
Mrs. Troublemaker, and she absolutely loved it. And they did. What did they do? They did Monster High style Evil Lynn and Tila, and then they did.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they did a Tila. Because
no, there was.
they did,
we saw a Tila.
There's a Tila.
But was that the fashion doll style one?
I think so. So
Okay,
they did just like the She-Ra they did a couple of years ago, which I love. I still love that She-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I really need to get it out on display because it hasn't been on display and it's lovely. But they're basically, so in the style of that She-Ra, they're doing an Evelyn and a Tila that look great, and I love the She-Ra. So I will probably end up getting those. Now, I do remember that they had a pretty high price point when they went on sale, and then they put them that those She-Ra figures ended up on discount.
Yeah.
Later. So I'm a little torn about whether or not to buy them when they're released or just sit tight and wait for a sale for like Mattel's Black Friday website sale or whatever.
Well, weren't these just testing the waters, though? Were they actually things that they're doing, or weren't they just looking for reactions?
They were on display for reactions, yeah. So I should reply. I should be like, I don't Twitter, but I guess I could go on Facebook and be like, yes, I will probably buy these, and by that I mean wait for them to be on sale. Yes, please make them so that you make too many so that I can get one.
Yes, make lots of them.
Make lots and lots and lots of them.
Think how many you should make, and then make double that.
Right. I love the Monster High. I don't own any Monster High, but I love the Evelyn, and I would love to see that if that Evelyn happens, I would love to see a Catra. I would love to see the other, like Scorpia. I would love to see the other She-Ra villains.
Well, here's the thing you got to consider is that new She-Ra cartoon is coming.
Yeah.
There's almost certainly going to be some kind of toy line attached. Now, chances are it'll reflect the aesthetic of the new show, but at the same time, Mattel's pretty good about like, hey, so this thing's coming out, but look, we've got this old thing too.
Yeah. I think that would be great. I mean, I think that the Monster High aesthetic for the She-Ra villain females would be just dynamite.
Absolutely.
Because they have those that goofy, like Entrapta with the hair, and what's her name with the tentacles? Octavia. I mean,
they've all got gimmicks. They lend themselves to that style.
They would all lend themselves to that style exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And just be super cool. And I would love for Monster High, collectors to get some really cool She-Ra stuff, and I would be interested in those as well. I think that they look really cool.
They could just call it Monster High Etherean Exchange Students.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Monster High Etheria. And I'm very pleased by what I've seen from the new show. Not that we're talking about that, but I am very disappointed. Much like being a Doctor Who fan right now, being a Masters fan and watching my fandom show its ass is really just disappointing. I mean, I know it's the internet, but it's just like, guys, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Shut up and go away. It's ugly, and it's not for you.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
It wasn't for you the first time, and it's not for you now. You weren't a girl collecting fucking She-Ra figures. They were designed by Mattel for girls. And guess what? Now they're making a show for girls, not for fucking 10-year-old boys and not for 40-year-old men.
Well, I do think it's intended to be genderless entertainment for the children, but it's definitely not for 40-year-old men.
No, and so I have my opinion of it, which is that I like everything I've seen except for Beau's missing mustache, and I think that Beau totally needs a sweet little fucking Lando Calrissian mustache.
Yeah.
Other than that, no notes. Looks great. Fucking, I can't wait.
There you go. What more do you need?
No notes. So then let's see. Then we can go. Do you want to do reaction?
Well, no, wait. Mattel had two vintage style figures, right?
Yeah, I don't. What are they doing?
What was that?
What is that? They did a Slime Pit He-Man and I saw a Skeletor, the back of a Skeletor, but I never ended up seeing what that was.
Yeah, I don't remember what the other one was either. The Slime Pit He-Man was the one that, like, I almost feel like the other one was some made-up bullshit. Yeah, but Slime Pit He-Man, like, that's, I mean, in whatever line they do it, that needs to be made.
I'm on board with the Slime Pit He-Man, but you know what? You know what I want? I want a fucking Slime Pit. Way more than I want a Slime Pit He-Man. I'm super excited, and we'll get to it, but the number one smaller item that's like a small playset or like a vehicle, the Slime Pit is it. That's my number one want for Super 7 to do. And they've done a couple of other little play sets with like Planet of the Apes and Alien and whatever. But that's mostly for reaction. But
you know what? I think you just nailed it though. I think if they do a Slime Pit, it's going to be for the reaction line.
Well,
because that would be the easiest way for them to do a Slime Pit He-Man variant.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want a classics. I want a classic Slime Pit with a classics scale Slime Pit He-Man.
I would love that as well, but I think I just kind of nailed it.
Yeah, that's very possible. And I want the muscle wave 3 of the Masters of the Universe muscles to come in the garbage can. That's what I want because you can't get it. You couldn't pre-order it from PowerCon. It's only available in PowerCon in person. But that's definitely the other thing that I want.
That'd be another neat thing, a muscle slime pit.
Yeah. That would be fun. It'd be so small. It would be like, it would be tiny. It would be like
pocket slime
like 5 inches tall. Yeah. For reaction, they revealed the new wave of reaction figures. It's Faker, Orko, Mechaneck, comes with 2 different neck attachments, Ram Man and Scareglow.
And I gotta say, I'm impressed with the fact that they're continuing on with the reaction line, because I honestly thought it would just be kind of these are neat for a little while, all right, we're done with that. But they're
running with it, and I don't have them. I have the one set of grayscale figures that I got when I was at New York Comic Con, because I was there in person, so I got them. But I haven't picked up any of the other reaction figures. You know, it was that He-Man, vintage He-Man, was so much more impressive than Kenner.
Yeah,
was the reason that I liked it over Star Wars figures and over Transformers and over G.I. Joe. So so to me it feels like going back to versions of the characters that could have been released back then, but never would have become what He-Man, what attracted me to it, and then what also made He-Man successful. It doesn't really jive for me, and I can't buy everything. So I'm not buying the new vintage figures, and I'm not buying the reactions.
I got the reaction Trapjaw because I found it at retail.
Sure, Trapjaw, yeah.
And I'd buy any Trapjaw, and I really, really like him. And if they were $10 a piece, I'd be collecting them.
Yeah,
but 15 is just too much for that little figure.
The blind boxes, which while I hate the blind boxes, I did have a friend who went to Hordak's Lair for me, and she got me one Hordak and one She-Ra Keshi blind box. Cool. I got a blue She-Ra and a black Shadow Weaver who looks really, really good in black.
That's the danger of getting one or two. You're going to get that one that's like, oh, these are so cool.
I know, but I got those 2, and I'm going to sit around and wait and hope that they release a garbage can of that wave.
Yeah,
because that's really the only way that I'm going to buy those is the garbage cans. That's how I want them. I don't want the pink muscle. You know, I don't want to buy them individually in little 3-packs with the pink muscles. I would much prefer to buy one, $25 for the garbage can. Get one of every figure, and you're done.
Yeah, I'm on board with that, and I like the multicolor too.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Although I got to say, I also like the large box of the entire wave.
Oh yeah, well I'm down with that. But paying $4 for one muscle, absolutely not. It was great to have to have a friend bring them back from San Diego, but I'm not paying $4 for blind bags.
No, it's crazy.
To try to get them all, absolutely not. No, sell me the garbage can, sell me the complete set all in one color. Give me the garbage can in multicolor. That's fine. I want one of each, but I'm not going to do blind box nonsense.
No. Don't play that game.
I do not. So then at Hordak Lair, they also revealed Club Grayskull Wave 3, which looks wonderful.
Yeah, you're not kidding, dude. Like this is a good wave.
It is. It's a very good wave, and it's almost entirely She-Ra, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
But you've got She-Ra herself, who looks fantastic. She comes with her the sword of protection, a shield, and the sword orang. As on the show, the sword could transform into things, into a variety of objects, and one of them was this boomerang. So she comes with the sword orang, which is wonderful.
And the first time that's been represented in the toys, right?
Yep, that's true. Fisto looks fantastic. His mustache is very impressive.
Yes.
His fist is very impressive. He looks wonderful. He comes with the vintage sword. Grizzlor is not furry Grizzlor, but he looks just like he did on the show. He comes with a new shield, and I think probably a stun baton. I couldn't see because I think Mantenna was standing in front of him.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now, and like there's something behind Mantenna's butt.
There's something back behind there, and I want to say it's probably another stun baton, but maybe not. Mantenna looks fantastic. Yes. I love seeing the four separate articulated legs on a figure is just wonderful. It looks like he comes with two sets of hands that are opposites. That's as much as I can tell that they're mirrors of each other, so you can either have like one closed left hand and one open right hand, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be different like that. Like they're just mirrors of each other.
Yeah, he's got two open hands and two thing holding hands.
Yeah. He has another head that has the eyes bugging out. Looks fantastic. I love every single thing about this wave. All of those figures are awesome, and I want them.
Yeah.
Sold. Now, one thing that was interesting is that they did on the sign on it says Deluxe. Club Grayskull Wave 3 Deluxe. And I don't remember if the Deluxe part has been on Club Grayskull at all. So I'm not sure about what is making them Deluxe. What's up with that?
I
don't know.
Mantenna certainly could be considered Deluxe, but like the rest of them, not really.
I don't know. So that was the main like figure reveal, like what we would normally be like, okay, this is the reveals of the lines. And then the rug, I love the rug. I want to buy it. They had a bunch of shirts. I like about half to a third of the shirts. They also did to jump back to Reaction really quick, they did a She-Ra Hordak 2-pack for Reaction that looks really good. Beautiful card art, I will say. Really, really beautiful card art. And I would say that's one thing those Reaction figures do have going for them, is that card art, both on the front and the back, is really, really nice. And I think that's it. Outside of the big thing.
All right, let's talk about the big thing.
The big thing.
Wait. Before we talk about the big thing, did you think the big thing would actually, for real, happen?
Yes and no. Yes, because they had obviously put a lot of work into it. That it would be, and it's obviously, I think, a passion project for the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
No, because they just were. No, because maybe at some point somebody would make a decision that was just like, there's no way to make this thing at a price point that is going to work. And from what I've heard, this is going to be like a payment plan type thing. So it's Snake Mountain. It is amazing. It is bigger than Castle Grayskull, which is already just gigantic. I love everything about it. There's so many extra little things that are coming with it that are from the original play set and the Filmation cartoon. Skeletor's bone throne, his like council table, They've made just a wonderful diorama of these tentacles and stuff coming up out of some, like a pool of goo or whatever.
Can I tell you what excites me the most?
No, please.
The weird little detail that I'm so excited about is the fact that the what was the microphone on the vintage toy has some kind of door on it. I'm dying to know what that is.
Something. Well, I'd love that they turned it into like a pillar. It looks like like an arcane pillar with the wolf's head on top, and I think that's just such a brilliant way to do it. And there does seem to be a little door on it. Tell us what it is.
Right.
I can't wait. I love it. I love it. I love the translucency of the lava waterfall.
And the fact that it's that way on both sides.
Yeah, there's a trap door. It's just so, and I have gotten a lot of play out of the castle. I bring the castle down, every couple of months, and me and the boys play with it, and I love it. I love the castle. And to be able to have Snake Mountain along with it, between Point Dread and the castle and Snake Mountain, the only other thing I would really ever want is the slime pit. Nothing else. I mean, other animals, other vehicles. I think that everything else that is a must-have for me has been done, except Snake Mountain and the slime pit. And if we get the Snake Mountain, and if it's a payment plan with a Kickstarter type function to see which of the accessories we do get, which I think is the way to do it. You do a pre-order so that the people who know exactly how many you need to produce. And then there is a Kickstarter component that is, if we reach this, we get the bone throne. If we reach this, we get the table. If we reach this, we get the little tentacles thing. That's the way to do it, and I'm on board. Let's do this. And then payment plan for the actual Snake Mountain itself. As the one thing I collect, I'm in. And it's because I can say no to reaction and can say no to other things that I feel okay saying, yeah, this castle's going to be expensive, but you know what? This is my one thing.
Well, think about this. This is it's going to be a minimum $500, I think.
Ugh, God.
That is my guess.
My anus just puckered up, like I almost turned inside out. Like I turned about halfway inside out when you said that.
Well, here is what I'm basing that on. Snake Mountain, they showed it a few years ago.
Like the Java barge?
Yes. Hasbro has set that standard for on-demand toy creation. And that sail barge is freaking amazing for $500. It's 4 feet long. The details are just mind-blowing. And this, to me, is an equivalent to that.
Yeah.
So if it comes in at less than $500, I will be surprised. Although I do not expect it to be more than $500.
Right. Yeah. No, that would be nuts. I mean,
unless 500 is the base for just Snake Mountain, and they do the add-ons for the Bone Throne, the scrying table, the tentacles, whatever.
I don't know. How much was I don't even remember how much the castle was.
Castle was $350.
$350.
Well, no, wait. Remember, if you ordered it at the beginning, it was one price, and then once the pre-orders were done and they just put them up for sale, it was like $100 more, maybe. So maybe we paid $250, and then it was $350 when they put it up on the website. Does that sound about right?
It's so long ago.
Because I don't think I paid $300 for it.
Yeah.
So maybe
I would be on board with $350 as the base price.
Well, the problem is just in the few years since Grayskull came out, toy production costs have gone up that much more.
That's true.
And this has a lot more to it than Grayskull.
Way more. It's bigger. It's longer. I mean, every single element of it is bigger.
Has more parts.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
But I'm on board. I mean, whatever happens, I'm getting it.
I don't know where the crap I'm going to put it.
Me neither, but I will find a place. I will find a place for it because
you'll find a mountain nook.
And then it'll be the crown jewel, like the castle has been, and then the slime pit will be the only thing that I feel like I still need. I've got my Roton, I've got my battle ram. Those are my, because the battle ram is the ultimate master's thing to me.
I never got the Roton. I need to track down a Roton.
The Roton is pretty great. I really love the Roton. The Roton for me is the ultimate Evil Warriors vehicle, and the Horde doesn't have a vehicle that is like their thing. The Mantisaur is, I had a Mantisaur when I was a kid, and it was cool, but it definitely wasn't like. It wasn't in my mind, like the battle ram and the Roton were.
The Mantisaur probably isn't even like the 30th thing you think of when you think of Masters of the Universe.
No, not even close. And there's like a thing called Monstroid, which is like this big four-legged thing that kind of rocked around these crab claws, and that, because that's not even a vehicle. You can't even ride that thing. It's just like a thing that you basically like put a bunch of figures around and turn on, and it knocks them over.
What did they have in the show? Wasn't there some kind of like Horde tank or something? Like a flying tank thing?
They were like transports for the troopers and stuff, but there wasn't an iconic vehicle.
Right.
So the slime pit is the only iconic Horde thing other than the Fright Zone. And while the Fright Zone is cool, it doesn't have the same level of iconicness that the castle or in Snake Mountain does.
Well, and also there would be no way to blend the toy Fright Zone with the cartoon Fright Zone.
Right, they are so disparate that there's no way. I mean, the toy Fright Zone was just a green cave with a tree on it and a snake, and then the Fright Zone is like an entire city palace.
Yeah.
So I would see the Crystal Castle, which is iconic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Far before I would see the Fright Zone.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine how good a job Super 7 would do, or the Horsemen would do on that?
I would say that I would be in on a Crystal Castle for sure. I think that it could be just nuts and beautiful, and especially with like all the cool stuff they did with
Crystal Castle Man.
Crystal Castle Man. There's a really beautiful design aesthetic to the castle, to the Crystal Castle.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything else in Motu. And I think it could be really, really beautiful and impressive, and I think that She-Ra deserves it, just like we deserve a Snake Mountain and we deserve a Castle Grayskull. I don't think we deserve a Fright Zone just because it doesn't have that same.
It's not iconic. It just isn't.
No, it's a wall with a hole in it and a tree and a spooky tree. It does. It doesn't capture the imagination.
You could literally go to like a modeling store and buy the parts to make a Fright Zone, and it would look fine.
Yeah. There's nothing that you look at it and go like, yeah, that's it.
It's a tree.
Seriously, for a guy who's so fucking obsessed with product placement, the Fright Zone toy is remarkably devoid of Horde propaganda. There's no giant Hordak face on it. There's no banners of Horde symbols flapping in the breeze at every fucking corner. It doesn't match his normal propaganda aesthetic.
Well, it's like freaking Dagobah almost.
Oh yeah.
Like if you look at it, it's like Dagobah. There's nothing. Like, nobody lives here. This is just like, it's like a landscape from Princess Bride.
Right. It's like a pea green cave wall.
I'm looking at it right now. It's just hideous.
Yeah. I have it. And I liked it as a kid because it had some cool action features, but there's nothing about it that you could, it's got a puppet. You could put Universal Monsters on that place. And that would make more sense than the Horde.
Yeah, it really would. But it does. That's right there. It's got a puppet. It
did have a puppet.
That's great.
That was pretty sweet. But I think that so that's why I think that that the slime pit is our playset for the Horde.
Yeah.
And I would rather have that than some attempt at Frankensteining together a Filmation Fright Zone with the, there's no way to, I mean, the Snake Mountain is a letter to being able to merge those two aesthetics together, and did it so well that I don't think that's possible with the Fright Zone.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, it would be extremely weird and awkward.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think
that's mostly it. There was some really cool stuff. I mean, obviously, I think the Club Grayskull Wave 3 and getting some more news about Snake Mountain are the winners here for me, for sure. I definitely am excited about, the rug. I'm definitely getting the rug. And the Mondo stuff, it's pricey, but we'll see. And I would be on board with the Barbie style, deluxe She-Ra figure, or Evelyn and Tila. And definitely, I think that I would love for Monster High fans to get She-Ra Pop Monster High. Although Tila might not do it for me, but I think that a Sorceress Monster High would look really good.
Yeah,
so I was trying to think of like a good character, and Tila, I could give or take Tila with the Monster High treatment, but I think the Sorceress could look really good with that.
They could really exaggerate the bird motif.
Yeah, I think that would look really cool. Now, I mean, that's not what they would do. And I think that's good. They would want to stick with like the spooky characters.
Yeah.
Which is, totally appropriate. But yeah, like Catra, and then just run with it. Run with all of the Horde villainesses and just do it.
All right, man. Well, I think we got it.
Got it.
Beau, it's been super talking to you. I wish we could talk more, both recorded and non-recorded, but life is what it is.
Life is what it is. We'll find some time.
We will.
I'll come back over with my short shorts next Friday the 13th.
Don't you threaten me with a good time.
No, and DragonCon will be here before we know it.
I know. We'll be Thursday night in the Marriott, man.
That's right. I'll be there. I'll be there with a fresh crop of puppeteers who have no idea what is happening to them right now.
All right, you got to sign us off.
I will. Thanks for having me. Good journey.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to sit down with our pals Ryan.
Hello.
And Jay.
Hello.
And talk about the toys of San Diego Comic-Con 2018. Woo! This is the fun stuff. Last time, we kind of had to talk about some things that maybe we didn't love so much and really get into the details of the movies and TV. This time we just get to look at cool toys. And we're going to start off with some big news about Target. What do you guys think about, one, the fact that NECA is now going to be, as of August 3rd, will be carried in Target stores?
I think it's great. I mean, something has to take the place for Toys R Us. So I think it's good. It has its drawbacks, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's really good because traditionally, NECA was a lot of online sales. They had their stuff consigned in Toys R Us stores, and then like specialty shops, direct market or places like FYE would certain amount of stock. But this is the first mass market retail, aside from the Pacific Rim figures making it into Walmart. This is the first mass market retail that NECA will be in, and Target has already done very well with other kinds of collectible lines. So I have high hopes that this will bring NECA a new level of diversity and ability to make money, which is, of course, the bottom line. And then the other news about Target is that Mego is back and exclusively available at Target stores starting July 29th. I think this news would be more exciting if we hadn't had any number of Mego knockoff companies for the past, 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, NECA is making tons of them that look just like it.
Well, no, NECAs are a whole
they're a little
level.
more detailed.
Yeah,
yeah.
but
there's been so many like you said, there's so many different companies that have been making them that it's almost like they never stopped.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a presence of this style of figure for decades now, for a couple of decades now, since toy collecting has been a thing, essentially. But this Mego relaunch has some very specific licenses that, if the nostalgia is strong enough, we haven't seen things like Cheers and Charlie's Angels, Happy Days, a lot of this older TV stuff that the people who are really fans of Mego, the people who are maybe, 5-10 years older than we are, those guys, that may be the stuff. I don't know. That may be the stuff they want, though, and this could be a big deal for them.
Not to jump ahead, but do they have golden?
No, they don't.
Someone else has that.
Yeah, somebody else snatched up that sweet license.
I just don't see, like you're talking about, those Cheers and all that.
I Dream of Jeannie.
I don't see the market being big enough to support that.
I'll be honest, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I see those
Married with Children. I mean, Married with Children toys are one of those things I'll look at and be like, those are great, and then I'll keep on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those I like a theory. I'm glad they're out there, but I can't imagine myself buying.
But I will say this. One of the things Mego does have going for it is the price point. The 8-inch single card figures are going to be $14.99. The 16-inch, I think it's 16-inch. 16-inch single cards are $19.99, and then the 2-packs are $29.99 for the 8ers. So
that's actually really good. I mean, you get a typical Marvel Legends these days. It's $20,
and that's a strong price point. And if they can get enough different stuff, like they've got, one I know I'm going to buy is they're doing a Dracula that's the first Bela Lugosi likeness figure in years. And it's if they can get enough stuff like that that's unique to action figures.
I said the same thing about the reaction figures. I thought I would personally have a lot more, and I thought they would fly off the shelves a lot faster than they did.
Oh, reaction sold
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of them that sat. I thought.
Well, here's the thing.
Sold the licenses back.
Just like any trendy fad toy line, reaction took off, sold like mad, and then later waves it slowed down. But look at, when you think about the reaction figures sitting around, think about how many Marvel Legends are still sitting around from 6 waves ago.
Yeah.
And when you look at the price point of the reaction figures and the amount of space that they took up versus the Marvel Legends, there's actually a much bigger profit margin in reaction, which is why Funko got in. They did what they could with it, and then they gave it Super 7, who's now doing newer and more exciting things with it, because for Action first hit, it was a novelty. And then you saw it everywhere. It got played out, which I don't know how Pops haven't gotten played out yet, but they haven't. But Reaction as a format got kind of played out, but now Super 7's taking it back, and they're doing some different things with the sculpting. They've got their licenses that are specific to them, like the Blu-ray stuff, and they're kind of cool again, which is pretty amazing. Meanwhile, Funko has their own 3 3/4 inch line that they're continuing on with, and they've added articulation and detail and paint. And even though Reaction, like you said, Jay, was just sitting at retail for a while, something good has still come out of it for both of these companies. I don't see all that happening for Mego, though.
No, I think a half-assed Al Bundy toy isn't going to be popping off the shelves.
So that, Target, though, in the wake of Toys R Us demise, Target is picking up some of the slack and doing some interesting things. We're seeing a lot of activity in online retailers. Like a lot of the Marvel Legends we saw at Comic-Con are popping up that look like they were probably intended to be toys, which we'll get to that here. But it looks like the market it's taking care of the stuff that's worth being taken care of, and everything else is probably going to fall by the wayside. And that was my next point here before we get into the actual toys, was that Entertainment Earth seems to be getting a lot of those Toys R Us exclusives.
Yeah, and they seem to be splitting exclusives. So like even some of the GameStop exclusives they announced will also be at Entertainment Earth.
I think that's probably a volume thing.
That's what I'm wondering, like distribution thing too, because I guess I assume GameStops are everywhere, but I've seen some people online complain that there are not GameStops at all near them.
Yeah, they're really dense in Atlanta, but they're, throughout the rest of the country, they're not necessarily as common.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Auburn, Alabama. There's 2 within 5 miles of each other. How they support that, I don't know. But
yeah, we'll just see. And, I'm surprised with how many we have in a city of, 8 million people these days? So
I don't even know, but all I know is I pass, depending on how I go home from work, I pass up to 4 GameStops.
That's awesome.
So, as the toy hunting paradigm shifts, I actually have options available.
Yeah, you already have your route figured out. So
right, exactly. All right, well, let's get into the actual toys. I already mentioned Funko a bit, talking about the reaction stuff. They had a surprisingly subdued presentation this year. The biggest announcement they had, for me anyway, was that they're producing Glow action figures.
It's just a 2-pack, right?
Well,
I don't think they're doing a full series. I only saw the 2-pack.
Yeah, all they showed was the 2-pack, but it's not like Funko to show any kind of restraint for anything whatsoever. So I would fully expect that they're going to do the rest of the wrestlers. My hope had been that somebody like Figures Toy Company or even Mattel would do. I mean, Mattel's a long shot because they're too mainstream, but Figures Toy Company doing these in the style of their wrestling figures would have been awesome. But this is cool. I'm glad, because the whole second season of Glow, I was just sitting there thinking, I'd really like some like old school toys. Well, they had what's her name, Welfare Mom. They had her selling her action figures in the second season. Spoiler alert. And that was what made me think, man, I want figures of these ladies. So Funko's
I'm not there yet.
To her selling her figures, did I ruin that for you?
I know, it's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of season 2, but it's only because I haven't been able to find the time with my wife. Like, she wants it together.
Yeah,
so we
that
just haven't been doing.
Yeah, always makes it tougher when it's like, well, we both got to watch it. Well, when do we ever get to hang out? Never.
Right. Yeah, but the first season was fantastic. So just the opportunity to buy the first 2, I was all in, especially with that style. I was all for it.
Yeah, second season is just as good. Highly recommended. Moving on to DC Collectibles. While we're on the top of not having a whole lot to show, what do you guys think of what's happened to DC Collectibles over the past couple of years? Like, just their lack of output.
They can't figure out what they want to do. They keep moving from, what was that? It was Icons. There's Icons. What we're on now.
From different styles. Like, this is the new thing, and then maybe not. This is the new thing. Yeah, I agree.
Icons was a line, but it was for collect too small. The true
short-lived.
Yeah, well, short and short-lived. But I've got a couple of them. I've got Batman and Deadman and a Harley, and they're absolutely amazing figures.
Yeah, the Deadman looked fantastic. I was super on the fence. Like, I came very close to buying that one.
It was a really, really good line, but collectors did not respond well to the smaller size. So now they're doing DC Essentials that personally I think look like garbage. They remind me. Do you guys remember probably 10 or 12 years ago, DC, well, back when they were DC Direct, before they were DC Collectibles, they launched a line of super articulated figures but done in the DC Direct style, and they had really weird joints like would be a swivel, but it was sculpted. It looked all shitty if you moved it at all. And they had it was really weird, ugly, lanky articulation, but it was them attempting to compete with Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I don't remember if I remember that, but I just remember DC Direct being very wonky, like, it was very line by line, like, or series by series, because they would do it by either artist or series or character. And so you get a widely different, say what you can say about the stuff, and then DC Universe Classics. The one thing, it's like I'm looking at, like, all of them, and they look like they all belong.
Yeah, they're
and
uniform.
I've got a couple shelves of the others, and, like, you wouldn't be able to tell that they were the same series if unless you knew.
Well, and that's DC Universe Classics for people who want to build a collection of characters, and then DC Direct to me was for people who were fans of who wanted to build story. Like, who were fans of specific stories or specific artists, like you have Kelly Jones figures, you have your Tim Sale figures, and I loved that. I really appreciated that, because I'm not trying to put a Tim Sale Batman with a Jim Lee Superman. Like, that's not the point of my DC Direct collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very story specific
right.
artist specific. Yeah,
it's a different thing, but the DC Collectibles is determined to get in on that standard line
generalization
business. Right.
Look, yeah,
which doesn't make sense to me, because Mattel is already doing that and doing it cheaper and better just because they've been doing it for so much longer. But anyway, yeah, DC Essentials is their new. I think it's going to fail just as badly as Icons did. What do you guys think? You've seen these figures, right?
I've seen a few of them. I know, like, some of the multiverse ones that I thought that I would pick up. When I actually, like, held them, I didn't end up grabbing. So, DC went, with DC Universe Classics, went from a buy every single one that comes out to kind of hitters kind of thing.
But these new Essentials coming from DC Collectibles, that's like their new standard line.
Yeah, I really haven't seen much of them, so I'm going to pass on them myself.
I'll say, the Watchmen ones they showed, they debuted at San Diego, they looked pretty good. Those are the only ones that really caught my eye were the new Watchmen comic figures.
Well, those have more unique parts than a lot of the other ones, because they've got a Deathstroke that is all paint and no sculpt. Same thing with, like, this line is very much they're going to use the same body for everyone and just paint the parts on. And it just looks, they look chunky and bad, and there are big gaps in the articulation.
I need to look at those, because I don't know that I've seen photos of that. Because I've seen some of the smaller figures, like the 2-inch maybe, that were similar kind of deal, where everything was paint, where everybody had the same head and body.
For Jay and for our listeners, your best resource to follow along as we discuss the toys of San Diego Comic-Con is toyark.com, who has tons and tons of galleries of the products that were at San Diego Comic-Con, as well as the press releases from the companies with, like, clean pictures of all the Marvel Legends and other lines. Like NECA and Mezco are really good about press releases, so you can actually get a look at the displays that were at Comic-Con and a look at the product pictures that the companies released. So toyark.com is a good place to follow along. One thing I was excited about from DC Collectibles was the continuation animated line, which I'd kind of thought was dead, because if you guys have noticed, and actually it's funny, right now the top story on Toy Ark is the DC Essentials figures, so you can go check those out if you want to. So DC Animated is continuing with Batman-oriented stuff. Like, it's still technically Batman animated at this point, but they showed Grey Ghost, the original animated series version of Scarecrow, which is the one I've been waiting for. I passed on
Me too. That one is the one I wanted from the beginning.
That one looks better, and it comes with a nice Jonathan Crane unmasked head. Two-Face from animated series, which I don't really have a Two-Face preference, but I would have liked to get just a Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm.
At least as a head or something.
Well, he'd have to have just a regular suit on too, because he wouldn't have the Two-Face suit.
True.
So, and I mean, I would be willing to pay for just a Harvey Dent figure because he was an important part of the show before, he got turned into Two-Face. The Batman Hardak robot, which I thought was very cool. I like that the damage in him is actually sculpted in and not just painted on. He looks really good. And then the Bat Cycle with yet another Batman figure. Did you guys see the Bat Cycle?
Yeah, it looks great, but there's no way I'm buying it. I still haven't gotten the Batwing yet.
Yeah, Batwing or the Batcave. I passed on both those after picking up the Batmobile when it first came out.
I got the Batcave for Christmas last year, and I'm happy to have it, but I can't honestly say if I had bought it, I'd feel great about having bought it.
How do you have it displayed? Is it just Alfred, or do you have a few characters spaced in there, or how does it look?
I've just got Alfred standing there because all the way I've got my animated stuff displayed on the wall, I've got a row of 2-foot shelves, and the characters are kind of all spread out across it, and then the Batcave is at the bottom on it's a deep shelf with the Mad Love box set and the Justice Lords. Or not Justice Lords, the Gods Among Us figures. I got those for $5 each.
Nice.
Yeah, because I actually really enjoyed that movie.
It is fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, Batcave looks really cool, but in the end, it's just a thing sitting on a shelf. It's not all that dynamic. It's honestly not made all that well. Some of the parts don't work as well together as they should. If you were following along when it was released, none of the stickers stayed on it. They actually had to send out a new label sheet with new stickers on it that would actually stick to the computer. Then the new ones work great.
Yeah, that sucks.
But
so what happened to the original stickers? Were they peeling off?
Yeah, they were supposed to be static cling stickers. But you put them on, it didn't stick at all. You'd press them down and then they just fall off. It was like just putting a piece of paper on it. So it's, if you get it as a gift or if you're just flush with cash, the Batcave is neat, but it's not anything I would say, yes, run out and buy it. Did you guys see the animated stuff? Was there anything you were particularly excited about?
It's so hard for me on that line because I did the initials and then I kind of quit. And
I understand, believe me.
It's something I feel like I look at the shelf and I think, oh, I'm missing that figure and that figure and that figure, and then I just don't go do it. I don't know.
I understand that because I love, the DC animated universe is my favorite DC, period.
Yeah.
A lot of the DC Universe Classics figures that I have are because I love those characters from the DC Animated Universe. But the figures themselves aren't particularly exciting. There's a lot of meaningless articulation, their ankles don't move. So there's really no point in their knees or their hips moving a whole heck of a lot. They're not all that dynamic. They honestly, they might as well have 5 points of articulation.
Yeah.
But I like them. I like having them. And like you said, when I look at my shelf, I'm like, man, they look really good together.
They really do.
They look great, but yeah, like you said, they're tough because they don't really stand up by themselves because of the style.
Yeah, you have to use the stands.
Yeah, you have to use the stands. And I've had such bad luck with quality, whether it's the Catwoman arm breaking or other figures just breaking the second I touch them.
That got better. I haven't had.
They certainly got better. They certainly got better, but it was one of those lines I really felt like I pictured that being the next line where I was the completest on and getting everything of, but kind of fell out of favor for me.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And then the one other thing from the animated line was the Justice League box set. Actually, I don't know if it's a box set or if they'll be offered individually.
I think it's a set.
That's going to be very, very expensive if it is a set.
Let's see if I can find it.
Because there's, 7 of them, and these things average $25 a piece, or $27 a piece now.
Here we go.
I mean, granted, I'm going to buy them all either way, so it really doesn't matter. But they look great, but what's interesting to note is that all of the new Batman animated figures that were shown have double-jointed knees and slightly different articulation, but all of the Justice League figures have the same standard articulation as the figures we currently have.
Okay, so here it is. They will be sold individually.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, that makes more sense because you've already roped people in for 15 months, so you might, or 12 months, whichever the case may be. So you might as well let them space out their purchases.
Yeah.
So for the listeners who are all in the set, not for me, I know, but I'm just asking.
The original, it's the original Justice League: Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl.
Say Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, and Aquaman is the
Aquaman, yes.
Unofficial 8th they threw in.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think even though I'm only partially collecting that line, all of those are a complete buy, except for the replacements with the Batman.
Well, but Superman looks basically the same, but the Justice League version of Batman is very different from either of the animated Batman versions.
I know. I'm trying to talk myself out of spending the extra $25.
You can't do it.
Have to
you have to
kneel me into it. God damn it! I'm buying the whole set.
If you put New Adventures Batman or animated series Batman with those Justice League figures, he's going to look so dopey. You can't even do that.
Yeah, the face completely looks different. So I get it. Damn it! Now I'm going to have to buy another Batman.
All right, moving on. Okay. Here's the other point I wanted to make about DC Collectibles is that just a couple of years ago, we would have had an entire line of figures based on Batman White Knight, and we would definitely have had figures of all of the Dark Knights from Metal.
Oh my God! That metal is made.
It's a toy commercial.
Yeah, we've had toys before the series even ended.
Yes,
halfway, by issue 2, they would be coming out.
And we have none of that. So very clearly, DC Collectibles is assessing what they do, what their place is in the market, and trying to figure out what collector needs they can fulfill. Yeah. And unfortunately, my collector needs are for White Knight and Metal figures.
Well, just wait, because you'll be able to buy, the Batman Who Laughs in 8 years from Mattel. You'll find him one day.
Well, Mattel's getting a little better though. If you look at which we'll get to their stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to hit NECA next really quick, just because there are a few key points there. Alien Resurrection, against defying the odds, NECA is releasing a wave based on Alien Resurrection, my 4th favorite Alien movie. But they're releasing...
It's better than your 5th favorite.
Well, here's the thing, though. There are 4 Alien movies. And then there's the 2 Prometheus movies, and then there's the 2 Alien vs. Predator movies. I realize Alien Covenant should be an Alien movie, but it's not. So it is my 4th favorite Alien movie, but if you want to count everything else, I guess it's my 6th favorite Alien movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was about right when you were saying your 4th favorite, but I assumed you were counting Prometheus and
I like
others.
Prometheus more than Resurrection.
Oof. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. Well, that'll be another episode.
Yeah, that is a whole nother conversation.
So they're releasing Ripley, who, whatever you think of Resurrection, the Ripley clone looked totally badass in that movie. The Warrior Alien, which was also an awesome new alien design, and then the Hybrid Alien, which is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh yeah.
And if you look
it's beautiful.
And if you look at the pictures on Toy Arc, it looks like it has a giant vagina. It's really, really disturbing. And I'm all about really, really disturbing, because like one of my favorite toys I own is the giant thing from Prometheus that has the fucking bendable penis.
That by far, hands down, my favorite Prometheus toy. That's one of I'm looking at it right now. It's like that. My favorite thing about that was the Toys R Us sticker that
Covering
said
it up.
Toys R Us exclusive that just so happened to be right on top of the attachable penis that came with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Alien 4, do they come with any of the Firefly crew?
No, and I would buy the whole crew of the Betty. I would buy every single one of them, but they won't do it because it involves likeness rights, and that would be Ron Perlman and scratchy voice guy that was the bad guy in The Crow and everybody else. They might do Winona Ryder. I say that only because she has been licensed as an action figure before, so like apparently she's not horribly difficult like some people are.
Yeah, I mean, and that's always the issue, and we've seen that, especially with NECA, especially, characters that you never thought you were going to get because of likeness issues, eventually getting them. So that's how we got the flurry of Predator figures with Arnold, and even Winona, or not Winona, whatever.
Sigourney Weaver was difficult for a long time.
Exactly.
And they've got, as far as Predator goes, they had the Shane Black figure that's coming out. I can't remember his name in the movie. But they can do Carl Weathers from one franchise, but not from another franchise for some reason. So, because I don't know. It's complicated. It's always complicated.
I will always say, like, never put them out because eventually, if you want them, they're certainly working behind the scenes to try and get them, and eventually they're pretty good about churning them out eventually.
Yeah, from everything NECA says, they want all those figures just as badly as we do. It's tough. Ryan, I think you're up next.
Oh, with NECA?
I believe so.
One of the most exciting announcements.
I mean, you can go ahead
Golden
and
Girls,
say...
fantastic. Woo-hoo.
You can go ahead and say the most exciting if you want to.
I think it is, because they've announced their figures for the Find from Karate Kid. The first wave is Heroic Karate Johnny in his gi and Heroic Johnny in his Halloween costume. And then the other two figures are evil.
Do they have the arch villain of...
They do. They have evil New Jersey bully, Daniel, and his evil sensei, the old man who beats up children. And that's just the first four. We might see, girlfriend that gets stolen, Johnny's loyal friends who help him get his girl back. It's really endless what they're going to do with these figures.
Someday we're going to have to be in the same town and do a Karate Kid commentary.
Oh, I can get in depth on that movie. I know all the names of the Cobra Kai, even the back.
Oh my gosh!
Now, see, and this is my thing about the Karate.
When you say bad guys, you mean Johnny and his friends, right? Or not Johnny, but the Daniel and his friends.
That New Jersey trash.
Yeah, the New Jersey crowd.
At some point recently, all of a sudden, Karate Kid became cool to like again. I'm glad to see people getting on the bandwagon, but they don't know the truth about the Karate Kid. But anyway, I like the figures. I think they look good. As crazy as it is, will I get them? I don't know.
What? Are you kidding?
Well, you know what? Again, it's 8-inch cloth. I don't know where I'd put them.
Dude, let me just tell you, I've got a bunch of the horror ones, and they're amazing figures.
I put those Bill and Ted ones down a bunch of times. I would pick them up and look at them and be like, I need to buy these, and then I'd put them down. But maybe those are ones I can sneak into my bedroom and my wife won't notice for a while.
She'll notice.
There's little Karate Kid figures in there.
Well, I'll just say this: I'm not buying anything until they get to Karate Kid 2, which is the best movie of the franchise.
So 2 days ago, I watched Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 in a row. I was doing some other stuff.
Sure.
2 doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Dude, 2 not only is 2, in my opinion, a better movie, it features the greatest love ballad of all time.
Oh yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And, and two, you really get to see Daniel LaRusso take his racism overseas.
Yeah.
And, he beats up on a guy who was doing all right. There's a guy who has a local business, and Daniel ruins it. You really get to see his horribleness overseas. And then the less said about Karate Kid 3, the better.
Yeah, that's no good.
You don't need to hear about the bad boy of karate. But, so Naked did that, and then, like you said, right next to them were the Golden Girls action
Golden
figures.
Girls, which, okay, so it was either last year or the year before, Funko released Golden Girls reaction figures. It was right at the end of Funko having their reaction name. But they only released them as a 4-pack and a convention exclusive. Totally missing out on my money. Now NECA has come in and is doing a mass market release of all 4 of the ladies and are getting all that sweet money that Funko could have had. But I am absolutely buying these Golden Girls. They look amazing. The likenesses are tremendous, and I cannot wait to hook Sophia up with Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, I love the picture too, because when they displayed them, it was like the Golden Girls, and then Buddy the Elf was like kind of hanging out with them with his bag of spaghetti.
Yes.
It just made for a funny picture.
Yeah, they kind of put all the random people, so they had the Golden Girls and then a couple of the random figures behind it. So Buddy the Elf, I think that's definitely a must-buy for me.
Yeah, that's already ordered for me. That's a must-have. And then behind the Karate Kid figures, we had another solo act, and I'm curious what you guys think of this, Ace Ventura.
It's been so long since I've seen that fight.
Right. Is it, one, is it even relevant anymore? 2, has the movie held up at all?
You never hear people talking about it.
I can only guess no.
No, but
you'll remember. But
every Dragon Con, you'll see that guy though in the tutu.
Yeah, well, if you look hard enough, you can see anything. At Dragon
yeah, that's
Con.
true. That's a poor. You're right. That's a poor way to suggest relevance.
it's a bad bar to set.
Yeah. You're right.
Looking at that figure though, it makes me realize they need to get the mask. Because you can make killer figures in that style in mask.
Yeah.
In a couple of different outfits. And you could do the gangster when he gets the mask.
Oh, dude, I want Cuban Pete mask.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a collection pinnacle right there.
Yeah. Now that's a movie that holds up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. It really is. It's so fast-paced. It's genuinely funny. And while at the time I was disappointed they made it a family movie instead of following the comic, in retrospect, it wouldn't hold up as well if they had made it gory and violent and everything. And Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so yeah, good retro stuff. And for the listeners, if you haven't bought any of NECA's retro figures, it's very difficult for me to be a collector of Mezco's 112 stuff when NECA is producing these for less than half the price, and they're so good. They're not as good as 112, but to put them side by side, it's like when you buy a 112 figure, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Because they are really, if there's a character you want from this line, you should get it because they're great figures. All right. I wanted to mention the Ultimate line of horror figures that NECA's gotten really, really good with. They're doing a Tiffany Chucky 2-pack, which is actually disappointing to me because I've got the Ultimate Chucky. It's one of the best action figures I've ever bought, but I don't want another one. But I guess I'm going to have to get one because I've got to have Tiffany too. They're doing Michael Myers from the forthcoming Halloween movie, but it is an Ultimate Michael Myers. So not only does it come with the mask from the new movie, it comes with the mask from the original movie as well. So you've got 2 interchangeable heads there.
That's cool.
And then we already knew that in October we're getting an Ultimate Gremlin that has enough accessories that you could buy 5 of them and make 5 different Gremlins. But they're releasing Ultimate Stripe later this year. And he's actually got furry hair on top of his head. He looks great. Comes with the skateboard, the saw blade, and the chainsaw. Now, you guys are not as horror nutty as I am, but did you see these and what'd you think of them?
Yeah, I saw them all. I like them. I kind of wish I bought, like, I'm going back and forth if I'm going to buy a Pennywise. Just because every time I see the Pennywise figures, they both look amazing.
They really do. Did you see the GameStop exclusive one?
Yes.
With the bloody arm?
Yep. So they're good.
The faces and likenesses are awesome.
What do you guys think about the fact that now, rather than, in a lot of instances, rather than releasing a $17.99 basic figure, they are just putting out a $24 to $26.99 ultimate figure that just kind of has all the components you would want? Because before, they would release 3 different Bruce Campbell figures that were basically the same, but each had a different head and some different accessories. Now they're just putting everything in one box. Do you guys think that's cooler?
I'm okay with it if they will say they're going to do it beforehand.
Which is what they're doing lately.
Yep. Mezco keeps doing that garbage, too.
Oh, man, yeah, that's pissing me off.
And it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, as long as NECA's saying, like, hey, here's your 2 versions. If you just need Jason to go on your shelf, here he is. But if you want all the stuff, here's the other one. I think it's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and that's what they've been, because both of those Pennywise are ultimate figures. They come with a bunch of heads and hands and balloons and shit. And that seems to be their first step now, is to go ahead and just make an ultimate version. And when you've got franchise movies, it works fine, because Friday the 13th, you've still got like 12 ultimate Jasons. So it's not like you're losing out on character possibilities by going ahead and doing the best one first. And then finally, NECA showed the quarter-scale foot soldier. It looks great, but it's a foot soldier. I'm not paying $120 for it.
Did you end up getting all 4 turtles?
Yes, I did. And they're freaking amazing. They're incredible.
Yeah, they look
figures.
fantastic. Like I looked at them and that's awesome.
They're some of the best toys I own. And then I lucked out because the comic shop did not order Raphael. It was just oversight. But then they offered Raphael with the coat and the hat, who comes with everything the regular one came with and has the coat and the hat.
Nice.
So I ended up with that one, thinking that I would just take the coat and the hat off him and display him normally, but they look so good. Like, the fabric is so good, the hat fits so well, that he's over there with the coat and the hat on. They're fantastic, but I managed to score all of the NECA exclusives this year when they went up for sale online. So I've got a set. I've got a set of the turtles with the diorama on the way, the 7-inch ones. I might end up selling these big ones.
Yeah, the set diorama looked amazing. That was of all the exclusives, that was certainly toward the top this year.
Yeah, I'm very excited about having that thing in my hands.
Yeah.
So that was it for NECA. Was there anything else from them that you guys noticed or wanted to mention?
No.
Then we will move on to Mattel and the belle of the ball. Now, okay, Mattel blew my mind with 2 different things. One of them was before Comic-Con even started. The other one was on the last day of Comic-Con. And what we're talking about here are the Aquaman with the battle armor shark figure. My pick best toy at San Diego Comic-Con. But then at the other end of Comic-Con, the Ian Malcolm 6-inch collector figure.
It's a thing of beauty.
Oh, my gosh.
I've almost decided that I want several of them just to randomly put, like, in a Marvel Legends case, in a Star Wars case. So just like, hey, look, Ian Malcolm, because I really don't want the rest of the Jurassic World Park, whatever that whole line is going to be. I can't see myself really wanting any other ones besides Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, I bought that Indoraptor that's part of that 6-inch scale collector line. And it's absolutely fantastic. So I think that Ian Malcolm is going to end up being really, really good.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's so funny is, speaking of Jurassic Park, when they showed the Aquaman, with the shark with the armor and the saddle, it reminded me of the old Jurassic Park toys.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like dinosaurs with like machine guns on it. But the best part is, in Aquaman, we're actually going to get that. Like,
Yes.
that is something happening in the movie.
Yes, that is canon. That is shark canon. So the Aquaman toys, they had two varieties, as they've had for a while now. They had the more modestly priced kid-oriented line with more basic articulation, but me and Phantom Jr. have had a lot of fun collecting those from Justice League. They did an amazing toy line. Like, it's not Marvel Legends, it's not DC Universe Classics, but we got to remember, toys are supposed to be fun to play with, and Mattel's Justice League line, between the vehicles, all the varieties of figures they did, all the characters they did parademons, they did the Atlantean guards, they did all kinds of different characters. Like, that line is tremendous, and I don't think it got enough credit for when it was out. And this Aquaman line looks to continue that, because they have such a variety of characters. They've got Giant Crab Guy, they've got, I guess those red guys are Orms or Ocean Masters, like Elite Guard or something. They've got a couple different Ocean Masters. They've got Aquaman. They've got Willem Dafoe's character with a hammerhead armor battle shark. Tons and tons of stuff in the kids line. And then the actual adult collector line. Did you guys see this thing?
I did. Those new boxes look great.
Oh, they're fantastic.
If anything, those new window boxes Multiverse is using is really good. Yeah, I thought the line, it looks pretty good for DC Multiverse.
Well, these are all, I mean, in my opinion, because I have ended up collecting all of the movie figures going back to Wonder Woman, because I found all the Wonder Woman stuff on clearance, and the Justice League figures kind of just kept getting better. Mm-hmm. And I'm really, really happy with the movie side of the Multiverse line at this point, and the fact that Mattel's keeping it separate.
I do like that.
The fact that they're not mixing movie and comic characters makes me very happy.
Are they keeping the sizes different? Because I know I picked up a lot of the Suicide Squad characters on clearance, and they were slightly smaller than the DC Universe Classics.
Yeah, I mean, even aesthetically, though, they don't mix with the Multiverse and with the Classics. And honestly, even the Multiverse and the Classics are a little different. I've got them on the shelf together, and it doesn't bother me, and I'm pretty sensitive about that kind of stuff. I'm not one of those guys that could put all the DC Direct Green Lanterns with my DC Universe Classics Green Lanterns. Like I kind of sneak them in if they're alien enough and weird enough. It's fine.
See, if I've got the Suicide Squad and the movie stuff, like kind of as a separate shelf because they're slightly smaller.
That's different enough. But I mean, to me, they're two different lines. I'm not trying to mix the movie stuff with the comic stuff because they're different aesthetics. You know, we're talking about likenesses of human beings versus likenesses of something drawn on a page. So there's just a difference there. But I've been happy with the way they've been doing things. I don't know how I feel about them making a troop builder, the Build-A-Figure. That doesn't seem like a great plan because that trench monster or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a weird choice for a Build-A-Figure.
I mean, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
But that's just an odd... Yeah, it should have been the crab guy. If anything. Mm-hmm. But the figures do look great. Like you said, Black Manta looks awesome. I'm excited about these. I'm looking forward to getting them. And then and neither one of you guys are doing well. Jay, you said you had some of the Suicide Squad stuff, and I do believe that's the same scale as the current movie figures. I don't think they've changed anything since then. Although I do think these look a whole lot better. The stuff from the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're the slightly smaller scale. And the only reason I said I would never pick them up just because I didn't like them, but ended up getting a handful, on clearance. It's super cheap, so it kind got the arrest to pick up the Build-A-Figure, which I think was Killer Croc.
Yeah, Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Amazon clearance will wear you down, won't it?
Yeah, I got a Harley Quinn for like $2.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's like insanely crazy. As much as we recently talked about the allure of the brick and mortar shops, the online stuff, when something pops up that cheap, it's tough not to grab.
They also showed, as far as the actual comic book side of the DC Multiverse stuff, did you guys see the Luthor wave that they finally showed in its entirety?
Yeah, Lord. So parts of that wave I really want. Like, I need Spoiler, and I need Vixen, because she is one of the original box figures for DC Universe way back. But, we were talking earlier about the delay. Like, that Lex Luthor and Superman robot, I mean, that has been gone out of comics now for at least a year or so, and wasn't a big deal to begin with. And by the time these actually hit the shelves, who's going to care? But I don't even know if these... I mean, I still haven't seen that Batwoman wave.
I've
the Clayface,
just started
I guess technically
seeing it.
Clayface wave, yeah.
I just started seeing it at retail. I've seen it in 2 different places now, so
Have
it's
you?
starting to pop up. But you're right. You're right. There is a big delay. I don't care anything about Lex Luthor and the Superman armor. The only figures I really want from this are the Harley, just because I collect Harleys, and Spoiler. I think those are the only 2 I really want from this wave.
Yeah, so I'll get Vixen. I'll get Ray, too, because that's a pretty good-looking Ray figure. But
And they all look good. The Bizarro, I love the Bizarro. I just don't really want it.
Yeah. And then we saw, I think, was the final Linda Carter Wonder Woman figure.
Looking much better.
It does look much better. I think it doesn't look great still, but it's better than it has looked.
Well, and the thing is, though, as we talked about, I can't remember if it was on the show or not, but I've got the Batman Forever Batman and the TV Flash, and in person, they look really, really good. But they had them at San Diego Comic-Con, and the pictures of them look like shit.
Yep, they
So-
certainly
I think
do.
it was the paint or something. Something looked off about them. Like,
The joints don't look good. The paint doesn't look good. They just don't look good. But the actual final product, I'm sitting here looking at them right now. They're great looking figures.
Yeah, see, that's awesome, because I really wanted those when they were announced, but then when I saw photos, it really, like,
No,
I tapped the brakes.
once you see them in a store, which they're in GameStop and ThinkGeek stores now. Once you see them in a store, I think you'll be very happy.
Yeah. And I can't find right now the pictures, but I know they did Danny DeVito Penguin.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. Danny DeVito Penguin, Heath Ledger Joker, which really
Oh, that's...
enough
Yeah.
of it. Give me a fucking Nicholson Joker. There must be likeness problems there. There have to be.
Yes.
Yeah, there has to be.
Because we don't need any more. There are at least 24 figures of the Heath Ledger Joker. I know because I've owned like 5 of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 of them right now.
We don't need more. Enough already. Yes, he was great, but enough.
Yeah, no, figures are fantastic, but yeah, if I saw a Nicholson Joker, I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
and
that's, I think everybody would, and that's why I say it's got to be, because the only Joker figure to have Nicholson's likeness was a Hot Toys figure several years ago. We've never gotten a domestic one. There's got to be some kind of problem there.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Michael Keaton and Reeves Superman from NECA. So if they had him in the same style, it's a no-brainer. I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Now, did you see this other wave, this Teen Titans heavy wave that they showed on the final day?
Oh, I think I missed that one.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this wave is great.
Where is that?
Well, I don't know if it's a wave. Let me send you the link while we're sitting here talking.
What style? I can only hope it's the new Titans TV show, because that looks amazing.
No, it is not. It's current comic book style.
Darn it.
But
Oh, here we go. Oh, the wave with Lobo in it?
yeah, Lobo.
Yeah.
A modern Black Canary, which I'm not crazy about the costume, but the heads look really, really good, and I like that they're doing an alternate Canary Cry head.
Uh-huh.
a new Jon Stewart, both versions of Wall-E. Starfire looks amazing.
She does, and Starfire is definitely one that needs updating, because that multiverse Starfire is a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not good.
Nightwing, which I'm pretty happy with the Nightwing I've got. I don't know how necessary this is. Well, and same thing with Jon Stewart. I'm happy with the Jon Stewart I've got, although they've been putting a lot of accessories into figures lately. So if they include a bunch of constructs with him, then I'm probably going to be on board. But what they're showing right here is just two hands and a ring blast. So I don't know. We'll see.
I like the Kyle. Kyle looks great. Like, I'm old enough to where I really liked Hal as my Green Lantern, but Kyle came in, same with Wally. When I was young enough that, them taking over was kind of the generational, pass off. He was a big portion of my Green Lantern fandom.
I'd like for them to clean his head up a little bit, though. He looks a little cartoony to me.
Yeah.
But he looks good. But I think I'm happy with the Kyle I've got. This one would have to come with a bunch of extra stuff for me to really feel like I need it. Kingdom Come Superman looks really good. I don't know how necessary he is or how much I might want him, but he does look good.
See, I want him just for my Justice Society area.
Oh, okay.
For that time when he was in Justice Society.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I've got a whole section of the going back to DC collectibles when they had very artist-specific stuff. I got the Alex Ross Kingdom Come section.
Oh, yeah.
And so that one's really good. But yeah, when he became kind of it was like a year or two that he was part of the JSA. He'd fit well there, where you wouldn't necessarily imagine him with Starman and some of the other random characters they brought in.
And then we've got a really nice new Hawk Girl with the metal wings, Katana, the best Beast Boy I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's one that needs updated.
And then, obviously, the Build-A-Figure is the big giant guy whose name I can never remember.
Blockbuster?
Is that who that is? No, what's his name?
No, it's, what is that guy's name?
Hart something? I don't know. He's one of the major villains on Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks good. I don't know why he's so beardy. I guess that's what he looks like in the comics now. But he looks good. And then a really odd choice, Aquaman from Flashpoint.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that fit in or why.
Honestly, if I were them, I would just ditch that one and go with something else.
Mammoth is his name.
Mammoth, yeah. Mammoth. Yeah, because his twin sister is also a villain. They're related to Hive, I think.
But some cool stuff. Early stages. So the final product figures are probably going to look even better than these do. I think that Lobo looks incredible. Although I would like to have his bike and dog as well.
I have his dog. Jay, you have it too, don't you?
Yeah, I
the
do.
Old San Diego exclusive.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
From
that figure is very nice. It's too
big.
big.
Oversized one, yeah.
Yeah, but it's really nice.
So I think that wraps up Mattel. Real quick, I wanted to mention, let's see. You know what? I think we'll skip over Mondo. Because I wrote about that in my article, which went up last Wednesday on needlessthingspodcast.com. And let's move along to Mezco's 112 Collective.
So Mezco kind of took a breather this year. I can't say I'm upset about it.
Yeah, right.
I was obviously a little disappointed not to get to see a ton of new Mezco 112s. But they're way behind. Or I wouldn't even say behind. They have a lot of stuff announced and pre-ordered.
Yeah.
And so I think they're just, the stuff they're showing now has signs of winter 2019. We're way out. So they took a little breather. For Marvel, we got to see a Ghost Rider that looks really good.
Had we seen him before?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's new.
Here's what Mezco will do, though. they'll release that Ghost Rider, and then like 3 months later, they'll announce a Mezco summer exclusive that comes with a bike.
Yep, it's jerks. They who else do we see? Marvel. They have Magneto.
Magneto looked great. He's one of the first 112 Marvel figures that like I liked it immediately.
Yeah, except for the crotch. They got to work on that.
Oh, I didn't notice the crotch.
He has a camel toe.
Let me go look. I'm going to go. You keep talking. I'm going to go look at his
Zoom
crotch.
in on it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, again, that's one of those lines that looks fantastic. Like I've seen them in person; they're amazing, and I'm so glad I didn't pick them up. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad you guys are spending the money.
You're better
and
off
I can
for
just
it.
look at them because, again, I'm the completist. If I had gotten them, I would have started and never stopped because they look amazing.
I'm not really noticing a huge crotch problem. I think it's just that.
Let me find you a good picture of it.
I'm looking. Believe me, I'm staring his crotch dead in the face right now.
Everybody, let's do their Google searches and turn the safe search off and
search Magneto crotch. Pretend you work for a game show that needs dirty stuff.
Let's see. I'll keep talking while I look for Magneto crotch. And then the last Marvel one we saw was there's going to be a Black Bolt and Lockjaw set,
which is amazing. Holy shit! Have they made those before? Like
no.
I haven't collected that line. Like, have they made like the big accessories or the big vehicles?
They've done
Frankenstein. They did like a door. They did the Lawmaster for Judge Dredd. Is that all the big ones they've really done?
That's all that's come out so far. But they're doing Darkseid. That's a big Polystone piece. They've got the big giant Hulk coming out. They've done large pieces like that.
Yeah.
But I was just surprised because, like, I feel like at this point it's maybe not the best time to be releasing Inhuman stuff.
It's not. And as good
you got
as
the
that
success of the TV show, right? That's popular, right? I haven't really checked in.
It's huge.
As good as that Lockjaw looks.
Well, they both look great. Lockjaw and Black Bolt both look awesome, but I don't give a shit about the Inhumans.
Yeah, and we all know that Marvel Legends is going to do Lockjaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time. I can't justify paying however much it's going to be.
At least $160.
At least.
Yeah, like a basic figure without that. How much is that typically?
$80.
Like $80?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've got something twice the size or just the amount of size of that. So so it's like $150 easy. That's a lot to ask.
And then on the DC side, DC Mezco collectors got nothing.
Yeah, well, I think DC's. Well, I don't know. No, they're not behind on DC at all, are they?
They're not. Wonder Woman shipped today.
Oh, really?
Yep. All the notices went out today for her. So, they've been doing a lot of Batman variants. People expected to see the third Batman.
I think they're saving that for.
That's going to be Batman Day, whatever.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Since they do that. And so that's all we got. Now, on the DC side also, what people noticed was, Darkseid is made of this polystone.
Right.
That's his big to-do. He's made of polystone. The one that they had displayed in the case, the polystone was chipping. And part of the glove was, like, shattered off, where you could tell parts of the polystone is fragile, and it was a big concern people had.
Yeah.
The display's already fallen apart.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, they've moved that thing around a lot over the past 18 months.
Yeah, and they have.
But it should be more durable than that.
It should. I'm trying to send you all this picture.
I'm actually looking at it right now, and you can see not only is there a bunch of chipping, I see where the glove is chipped away, I see a bunch of paint chipped off, but I'm also seeing on the shoulders where the fabric has separated from the shoulder guards.
Uh-huh.
But this is not a final product. This is
It's
still
not.
a prototype, so it's kind of not fair to judge the final product against the prototype they've been showing for the past year and a half.
Yeah, things definitely change, and
Yes.
you see that when you actually have it in your hands a few months from now.
Well, I want to make sure we don't overlook the
Real fast.
Oh yeah.
Check your Facebook Messenger group real fast. You'll see a photo I've sent you.
Is it Magneto's wiener?
It is a Magneto crotch.
Wait, Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, I sent it to the group. Wait, did it send it?
I don't have anything. Do you send
Oh,
it?
there you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
There you go. Now blow
Let's
that up
see.
nice and
Yep,
big.
now that popped up.
Oh, I'll make. Oh my gosh! Whoa, that's not okay.
I haven't seen it. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay,
Isn't that amazing?
This will be the cover photo for the episode for sure.
Ew, yeah, that
Taking
that's certainly a camel toe.
taking Magneto to a new level. Heyo,
Oh, I mean, it's amazing.
that is
So
rough. Okay, you were right. They need to put some padding in there. Get that man a dance belt.
So let's see, where are we at in Mezco?
I don't want to overlook the highlight of Mezco's presentation.
Was it Robin Hood?
Their 112 Robin Hood
What the
from
hell?
the forthcoming movie Robin Hood,
Like,
starring
I
some
stared at it.
dude as Robin Hood.
What made them think that was a good idea?
Dude, this is the most generic ass looking figure. Like, it almost looks like Kenner did a special larger size Robin Hood. Like, this is just junk. Why?
Isn't there a new one coming out,
Yeah,
a new
there's a
TV
new-
show or something? Is that
Yeah,
what it's
there's a
based
new-
on? Or
Well, there's
Yes,
a new Robin
Jay, and
Hood
there's
movie.
an $80 toy you can buy from it already.
Holy shit. I just don't... I mean, this must be a deal where the people making the new Robin Hood movie were like, hey, if you want to do a figure from this and help us promote it, we won't charge you any licensing on it. Just make this thing. Because
it could
there's
be
no way.
the NECA thing, like I heard recently, where they're the ones that stock the stores themselves.
Yeah, I told you that.
So, and then besides Robin Hood, they showed they're going to do Warriors figures, which I think the Warriors ones look great. I'm not going to buy them, but
I'm not a fan of the movie particularly, so.
yeah,
But I mean, they look like they're supposed to look. Here's the last thing I have to say about Mezco. I don't understand how the world isn't blowing up about the fact that the Ghostbusters still do not have the fucking hoses on their fucking legs.
Did you see? I put it on their site, and a bunch of people responded and said, "Yep," and they never said a thing.
I've tweeted to them. I've sent them emails. I sent them a thing. They had some kind of thing on Instagram where they were like, hey, got any questions for us? And I asked them about that. They will not comment on it. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think they know it's missing, and they're just going to...
I guess they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yep. But,
All right.
and
Great.
one of the highlights, we both got the Punisher, which is super
Yes.
exciting.
Yes, it looks amazing. Dude, the detail on the costume, the way the fabric looks like some kind of mesh overlay armor. I'm super stoked about that figure, and it should be shipping any day now.
Yep, I'm pumped.
And also, speaking of Comic-Con exclusives, I guess I'll keep bragging about the shit I managed to get. Super 7 put theirs up. They sold out of the Hammerhead Alien, which is a bummer. Did you guys see that? Mm-mm. It's one of the Reaction Alien figures, but it was colored like the original Kenner Star Wars Hammerhead. It looks awesome, and it comes with a coin too, one of the Power of the Force coins, but with that on it. Nice. Look it up if you get a chance. But they were sold out of that, but I managed to get all the Universal monsters and a couple of the glow-in-the-dark Misfits figures. So
Nice.
I was pretty stoked.
Nice,
about
yeah.
that.
The Universal monsters looked awesome.
Yeah, those super bright color ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the link that said, like, hey, we've got extras available, click here. And by the time I was home and able to look at it, it was sold out.
Yeah, I got lucky. I just happened to be on a break when I saw it, and I was like, oh, shit, boom, and went, because you know how you got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. You got to do it quickly. So you got all of them?
Yeah, I got all 4 of the Universal Monsters and 2
Awesome.
of the glow-in-the-dark Misfits. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then I pre-ordered the Laughing Atom as well, which I think it's very cool that Super 7 saw the demand for that and chose to handle that one a little bit differently.
Yeah, I haven't picked up any of the He-Man stuff, but that if I was a He-Man guy, I would have had that.
Yeah,
I haven't. Awesome.
I haven't bought any of Super 7's Masters stuff. Somebody gave me Trapjaw as a gift, but I'm basically out at this point. But I had to have that Atom. I had to. Stupid novelty gimmick shit is too far up my alley for me to pass on. So our final company here, you guys, we got to bring it home, and it's the biggest one. It's the one we all collect, Hasbro. Are we ready for Hasbro?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So unfortunately, Josh could not be here with us tonight. To do a Transformers segment, so I'll just say this real quick about Transformers. Some of the War for Cybertron Siege stuff looked absolutely awesome. I have been picking up Transformers here and there when it's a character I really like or a design I really like. And that War for Cybertron, they're doing a new Ultra Magnus. They've got a female robot called Chromia. Everything takes place on Cybertron, so it's the cool futuristic-looking vehicles, kind of like the post-Transformers the movie stuff. And it looks cool, and I don't want to start picking up Transformers regularly, but some of this stuff is awesome. And for the listeners, once again, go to toyark.com, and you can see pictures of all the new Transformers stuff, including the basic figures and the Studio Series and the Masterpiece figures. There was some cool stuff here. And that brings us on. Do you guys want to do Marvel Legends or Star Wars first?
Either one.
Let's go ahead and do Star Wars because I think there was less of it. I want to lead with the play sets. Did you guys see those?
Nope.
I don't think I did.
One Star Wars Black. Don't look at
it. In general, I don't look too closely at the basic line, but they are releasing 2 play sets, or at least they showed 2. They may have more in the works. One of them is Kessel, and one of them is the train robbery deal from Solo. They are very old school. There are a lot of pressboard with printed graphics on it, but
cool.
Plastic.
And this is the smaller scale.
Yeah, this is the basic. This is the basic line. But they look really cool. They've got a lot of plastic enhancement pieces, like the actual train is plastic. And on Kessel, like there's a plastic control console. They've done a really good job of creating little dioramas. Like if you want something for your figures to stand on, or if your kids want little environments to play in, I think these things are really cool. I'm excited to see any kind of play set again that's not a $250 frickin' BB-8 that opens up. I think these are great, and I'm excited to see what else they might do with them, because it's the perfect thing to do a new Star Destroyer or a new Death Star. Like, you can do this modular component stuff, and I think it's something very tenable for Hasbro, and hopefully they do well in the market. I do wish they were based on a movie that did a little better, though. So, having said that, what happened with the Black Series?
Surprisingly, not too much. We saw from Solo, Val, they released. Beckett, who we'd kind of seen before, and L337, who they had shown before, and then a new Patrol Trooper. In the main line, we got, let's see, a damaged Phasma.
Who was supposed to be a Toys R Us exclusive, but I think is now going to Entertainment Earth and GameStop or something.
A Hoth Leia, Chronos 2. Are those the main ones they showed?
So I'm confused. They've got Chronos, which is from Kessel, right?
Yeah.
It's the guy from Kessel, but then there's also a character called Moloch that looks just like Chronos, and I guess maybe because I only saw Solo once.
Yeah.
Were there several characters that kind of just looked like that? I thought there was just one, and then there were
I don't know.
guards.
Yeah, I can't 100% figure out what that is. So I'm hoping they'll... And I can't find it clarified anywhere, because I tried to look it up. Who else they do? Oh, they're doing Rio from Solo, which I didn't really care for Rio, but...
I didn't... Favreau was too much, but the character design I love.
Yeah.
So it's a good figure.
I think that's it. Besides the two troop, it was a shock trooper and an Imperial patrol trooper. Kind of the big news for them, well, two big things. One, Hasbro admitted during the panel that they're having huge distribution problems with black.
Oh, really?
Yes, they said they are very aware of the problems and that it's one of their main focuses is getting it back on track and making sure that the waves get out where they should be. And then the other big announcement was there's going to be like a subline called the Archives line, which is something we were talking about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the first Archives toys are IG-88, Bosk, Boba Fett, and Luke in the X-Wing gear.
Now, does this Luke have an updated face?
It looks like it. I didn't see if they specifically said it, but he looks a lot... that Luke is one of the original black figures, and the paint's kind of crappy on his face, and this new one looks a lot better.
Okay.
So which Luke? I know you said IG-88 and Bosk was going to get re-released.
That flight suit, the X-Wing flight suit, orange Luke.
Gotcha.
And so... they're going to keep going with this archive line, which I think is a great idea, especially for the bounty hunters. We got better shots of Dengar. Dengar looks really good.
Yeah,
I can't wait. But that was about it for them. I was hoping for a bigger vehicle announcement again, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think after the TIE Fighter bombing the way it did, I don't think there'll be any big thing. I'm honestly surprised they're still doing even the mid-sized vehicles, although they seem to be doing, well, I don't know, though. The Land Speeder and Ray Speeder, I mean, shit, I bought those for $8 and $12 respectively. The Dewback seems to be sort of sitting.
He does, and they didn't seem to ship many Dewbacks either. Like, I've been watching it real close.
Yeah, the Dewbacks I looked at Walmart and Target, and it seems like everybody has like one, maybe two, and I haven't seen much more than that.
Yeah,
I know Walmart.com had theirs on sale for like 40% off.
Oof.
I think I went ahead and got that just because it was free shipping.
Yeah. No, well, I pre-ordered Enfys Nest and the Swoop bike just because I like that character design so much, and it's a freaking swoop bike. But I know I'm going to feel like a dum-dum, come Christmas when they're selling them for $20.
Oh, I just realized, did Hasbro Toy Shop already put everything up?
No, August 13th. They're all
okay.
They're all
here. It just says out of stock right
yeah,
now.
they're all on the site, but they're not available till August 13th. Which, by the way, for the listeners, if you want the Hasbro Comic-Con exclusives, that is when they go up, sometime on August the 13th.
So, not a big year for Star Wars Black, but obviously we're in between movies again. They're one, two that have announced several waves now forward. So I think they were kind of taking it easy too.
Well, and that's the other thing is we don't have another movie for, 16 more months?
A year and a half, yep.
So there's a lot of area that they can cover between now and then.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't do everything.
Uh-oh.
I forgot one of my biggest ones. They announced Chopper and Ezra.
Oh, right. Yes. Actually, I ordered because I picked up Hera and Sabine because I collect Mandalorians. So I bought Sabine when I saw her. But Hera I saw in the store, and she just looked so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I bought her just because she's. I mean, sometimes I buy figures just because they freaking look great. So when I saw they're doing Chopper and Ezra, I ordered Kanan today. He was like $12 on Amazon.
Yeah, he was the last one I ordered.
So
and I was like, all right.
And that's everybody they've done from Rebels so far, right?
Yep. So now we're just missing. Technically, we're just missing Zeb.
Yeah.
But I would like to see him do Callus and some.
Yeah,
other people.
yeah. I'd love to see some of the other characters, but yeah, Zeb will be the last one. And I mean, if they're doing Chopper and Ezra, they're going to do Zeb too. Well, I think they even said during the panel that they intended to do more, didn't they?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're doing more.
Yeah.
Chopper looks great. He comes with his little blast effect and all his
Yes.
arms. Ezra, unfortunately, he's season 1 Ezra.
Yeah, I was disappointed by that.
You know, he has a stupid gun lightsaber thing, and it's fine.
Well,
I
you know
wish
what, though? Kids love that thing.
they do. And it's, you know, we're getting an Ezra. I can understand why they didn't do later seasons Ezra, so we're getting him good enough.
Didn't do them yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
This is classic action figure maneuvering where they put out a less desirable version of something earlier on because they know later they're going to get your money again for the better version.
Right. Well, that's like Kanan. Like, I want Blind with his helmet on.
Yes.
And not that one, but I'll take it for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that was all Star Wars Black.
Well, then it's time to bring it home with the main event, the one thing that all three of us like enthusiastically collect. Or at least Jay, are you still deep in the Marvel Legends game?
I am, but I've stopped being the completionist, and
you got to cherry pick. You have to
cherry pick. We've talked about it before, but I finally realized, like, hey, not everybody's been picking up this line since 2001.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Well, and they used to do 3 waves a year, and now there's like 3 waves a month.
Yeah, exactly. So
crazy.
Like, yeah, it's insane, and we've talked about it before. When it was $10 and they moved to 14 or 15, I was like, I'm never picking this up ever again. Now it's 20, and so I've resigned myself to cherry pick and do characters that I like, and so it's here and there. Every year, they show rounds and series of characters I want. So I have to decide if I'm going to pick all of them up to get the Build-A-Figure, or only cherry pick and get like 2 or 3 or 4, and that's it. But at that point, like, if I'm getting 4, should I go ahead and pick up all 6?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Where like they're just enough where I'm like, well, shit, I might as well build the figure.
Exactly.
It's almost like it's a marketing play.
So, Ryan, I hope you've got really good notes because Toy Arc's Marvel coverage is spread all over.
I know most of it. So, the first night, the first thing they unveiled was the second Black Panther wave.
Which we had speculated about.
Yeah. And what was a little surprising about it is that it is a whole movie wave. There is not a single comic book figure in that wave.
Yes.
So it's T'Chaka, so his dad,
yes.
Shuri.
Although Shuri, who was the best character in the movie, by the way, is only a plastic silhouette. They don't have a figure at all to show.
Yeah, she's not ready yet. One of the Dora, I can't remember what her name was. Yeah. Another T'Challa, Killmonger with his Killmonger with his hat on, his helmet?
with his like the first stuff he's wearing in the movie,
the Wakanda mask,
which is the figure I wanted in the first place because it's much more interesting than evil Black Panther. See, it looks to me like there are 2 T'Challas. One of them with his energy armor charged up, with the purple lines on it, and it looks like they're redoing the Civil War T'Challa with one of the new fancy heads.
That's correct.
And then Claw.
and then Claw, and I can't see on his arm. It's open, and it's got the gun kind of hanging out, but I can't tell if there's any kind of articulation there.
I bet that's an alternate arm. Like,
that's what I thought.
It unplugs.
Yeah. And then the Build-A-Figure is M'Baku, which is awesome.
It looks great.
I don't collect any movie figures, so I won't be getting it, but it looks great.
I don't really want the 2 additional T'Challas, but I'll buy that whole wave because I gotta have M'Baku.
Yeah. And then they went into 8 gazillion toys that they're going to release. What's kind of interesting about Marvel Legends this year is as we go into San Diego, we're almost caught up. You know, usually they're a couple of waves behind, but the X-Men wave is on shelves now. The Spider wave is on shelves now.
Yep.
And so really the only waves announced before San Diego left to come out is Deadpool and the next X-Men wave, the Sauron wave. So we're only 2 waves out from catching up to what they announced. So Deadpool on his Vespa with Dogpool and Squirrelpool.
I'm a little disappointed, though, because it looks like Dogpool and Squirrelpool are part of, like, attached to the Vespa.
I think they might be.
Because they're not articulated at all.
Yeah, they don't look like it. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see it, like, up front and see how it actually looks.
But it's still an awesome figure.
Yeah, I kind of... If I find that on clearance, I'll buy that for my Mezco Deadpool. I don't need another whatever, but...
Nobody needs another Deadpool at this point.
Surprisingly, they're continuing the vintage wave. It's a good idea.
Did all right for them.
It seemed to, and I'm surprised they're doing them.
Well, you'll notice, though, they've tweaked it. It's not reissues now.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and they kind of are. That's the weird thing, is they're like... Well, I guess they're reissues as much as Marvel Legends always is.
Well, I mean, they've never done this Ant-Man, this Wasp. This is a different comic book vision than they've done.
Yeah.
What are the other ones?
The Hawkeye. It's the Hawkeye from a few waves ago, but it's both bare arms instead of that one kind of armored arm they did.
Right.
And then who else is in that one? I think that was it.
Yeah, to be clear, this is a series where they're like mint on card. You're not supposed to open them.
Looks like the Secret Wars cards.
Exactly. Yeah, they're
no. They look like the Toy Biz cards.
You're right, Toy Biz cards.
Yeah.
But they're there for display, not to open.
Well, I mean, not now. Yeah, I mean now they're giving you kind of basic ones, and that stupid Vision comes with that Ultron head. Which I need that head to make my Ultron right, which is annoying. So they're doing another wave of those. They announced that GameStop and Earth are getting a deluxe Archangel.
Yes.
Looks amazing. I pre-ordered him today. He is more expensive. He's $29 instead of $20. But when you see the picture of him in the box, he doesn't come on a blister pack. He's in a box.
And he comes with a ton of shit.
Yeah, those wings are
He looks great.
And he's going to be really nice.
Well, he comes with 3 different heads. Well, no, I think he comes with 4 heads.
Yeah, 4 heads.
He comes with an alternate or hand piece for Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wings look fantastic. I mean, he's worth it.
Yep. And then they got into all the stuff. So the first thing they showed, they're going to do a modern Hercules. I kind of wish they would go back and redo the classic one, but they didn't. I think the most exciting Marvel Legend they showed, Professor X is finally getting his hover chair. He's going to be.
That's the biggie. I think for me, that's the biggest one of all weekend.
Now, did you notice that at the panel they showed a picture of just Professor X, and in the displays it was Professor X in the hover chair? Do you think maybe the hover chair is a Build-A-Figure?
It's not. It's a Riders.
Okay.
Legendary Riders boxes.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to update of Black Cat, which I don't like that costume.
No, I don't either.
whatever. Silver Sable, who's been missing big time.
Let's mention though how funny it is that in all likelihood Silver Sable and Black Cat were set up because of Sony's movie, and now that movie has been canceled.
Yep. That's probably exactly why. Oh, Venom, that's the other wave that's about to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably you're right. And they teased, it was so weird, because they always do the teases where they put out like one item to get people excited all weekend, and it was Silver Sable's whip. And people were just like, all right. I mean, I don't think there's that many fans of Silver Sable. I mean, I'll get it, but Red Goblin, who cares about Red Goblin?
Man, that, to me, this is just me. This is just my personal opinion. That whole wave, Red Goblin, the symbiote Spider-Man, Black Cat, like that wave was just ass.
Well, and here's what sucks about it is, you're right, the wave doesn't look good. I don't understand that symbiote Spider-Man because I'm not caught up yet to that point in the comics.
Well, I can tell you the story if you want to know.
Oh, I'll get there. I'm not worried about it.
All right.
But I don't think the figure looks good. But then the Build-A-Figure is this awesome Kingpin.
I know. It's infuriating.
And I haven't bought... I'll probably buy the whole wave to get Sauron. But I haven't done a Build-A-Figure in a while.
Oh,
and
really?
This Kingpin, yeah.
Well, Kingpin's a must-have.
He is, and I'm going to have to buy a bunch of garbage to get it.
Well, fortunately, we've got a deal now where I give all the like Spider-Verse stuff I don't want to Phantom Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have Kingpin, and he'll have a bunch of crappy-looking Spider-Man symbiotes or whatever.
Who else they announced? They announced Blink, which I'm super excited about.
And she looks great.
She does. And she's one people have been waiting for a long time. They're going to update Gambit, which I have the old Gambit, and he still holds up pretty well.
He's okay, but he does't fit in with the new aesthetic.
Yeah. The new one definitely looks better than the old one.
Skullbuster! Which, you know what? All right, let me just say this. I have gone on several different toy-oriented websites. I will not mention any names. But I see a lot of commenters bitching about Skullbuster, and I would like to say to every single one of them, fuck you. For every shitty little team that nobody's ever heard of that you're whining about not being able to complete, I want my Reavers. One of the best villain teams in the history of Marvel needs to happen. So anybody who's complaining about Skullbuster, you can take your Red Goblin or whatever bullshit ass you think is a good call and eat my ass with it.
I just want... What's the one who has tank legs? What's his name? I don't remember.
Skull Crusher.
That's Skull Crusher. That's who I want is Skull Crusher.
I want all of them. I want all three versions of Skullbuster. I want Skull Crusher. I want Pierce. I want everybody.
Yep. Well,
I saw him as a Build-A-Figure.
They made it a point during the panel, too, to specifically say, when we start teams now, we have an eye on finishing them.
Yeah.
So if they're putting them out, I guess eventually they're going to finish it. They finally showed the Days of Future Past Sentinel and Wolverine box like it was supposed to be a big surprise, like this stupid thing. Everyone's known about it for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so they finally showed it and people were like, yep, got it.
But it is, I mean, it's cool.
It's nice. If you don't have the old Sentinel, like I've got, two of them, like they're great. It's the same one, basically. So
it's the same one that was released as part of the Marvel Universe, the 3.75-inch series.
Yep.
And they've just repainted it to look a little different. But the Logan, it's
something's
almost
funky about his head.
Well, he's almost too comics accurate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because I don't need him anyway.
Yeah, it's like that Logan that comes with the new motorcycle. The head is just off.
No, have you seen him in person?
No, I haven't seen him in person.
It looks good. He looks really good. Yeah.
Let's see. We have an AIM 2-pack, kind of like the Hydra 2-pack they did.
But what's up with that funky black and yellow AIM soldier? Is that like a modern one or something?
Yeah, he's one of the soldiers from AIM Island.
Okay.
From a couple of years ago.
Okay.
They're going to do Ultron in the 10th anniversary things. If you haven't seen, have you seen the 10th anniversary stuff in the stores yet?
Oh, dude, I've got almost all of it now. I found Sif and Thor at Think Geek the other day.
I saw them today. Ant-Man today.
Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are on the way from Amazon. Cap and Skull Crusher, or Skull. What the fuck?
Red Skull.
Crossbones.
Oh yeah.
Cap and Crossbones. I've got sitting right here, and they are. You know, the price is a little much, but they are huge improvements.
They look really good.
Yeah, they're a step up from everything else. Even though I've got 50 freaking Iron Mans, I bought Iron Man, and it's good.
So Ultron got announced, and he looks much better. The paint on him looks 1,000 times better.
Yeah, that Build-A-Figure was garbage.
Yeah. And then one of the big surprises, I think of probably almost all the toy stuff at San Diego, the next Walgreens exclusive is Magic.
Which I'm stoked about because I've been hurting over not having that Magic figure from the box set.
Yep. And I was looking at my box, and I think it's the same figure.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just got a ton of extra accessories.
Yeah, and I think she's got a little bit of a paint. The sword is definitely painted different. The one in the back that glows in the dark. And I think the eyes are a little different. But otherwise, it's a good figure. What they have said is that Walgreens, we've gone through this whole Fantastic Four thing with Walgreens, and we were kind of talking what would be next, and they've almost confirmed it's going to be the X-Men. So they're going to start filling in.
I was hoping New Mutants.
Well, they didn't say, they said X-Men, but I think they meant just that property.
Because I
think you're right. I think we're
still
going to
need that Moonstar.
Yep. I think we're going to get Cannonball that way. Yeah, I think it's going to be them. And it makes sense because New Mutants, when the movie one day comes out,
maybe
there's going to be some interest in them. But yeah, I bet that Moonstar is going to be the next one they announce.
I would hope so because that figure's been a long time coming.
Yep, but that was pretty much it for Marvel Legends. They're going to do a new Miles and Spider-Gwen 2-pack, but that was all of them.
Yeah, that was pretty much everything. I think. What's that?
That was their big surprise on the last day. They put Genis Vell out in the.
Yes, it looks awesome.
Yeah, he looks really good.
He's got that nice translucent star-filled plastic with the metallic green armor. He looks. I don't even really know the character I know of the character, but I don't really know anything about him. But that figure, I'll buy. Because he's badass. So what is he? Is he the first from the Captain Marvel wave?
Yes. So the rumors went around that he's the first in the Captain Marvel wave. And some people were saying a comics-accurate Drax has also been seen.
Oh, interesting.
People were shown a comics-accurate Drax as part of that wave. But yeah, he'll be the Captain Marvel wave.
Okay, very cool.
So yeah, that was Marvel Legends.
Cool. Well, I think we covered everything we might want to cover from San Diego Comic-Con. Ryan, thank you for being on point and having a shit ton of notes. Jay, are you still awake?
I'm still here.
Excellent. While you're here, why don't you tell us where we can find your stuff online?
BelligerentMonkey.com.
Excellent. For the listeners, I'll say that one more time. That was BelligerentMonkey.com. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for once again talking about San Diego Comic-Con. And, Ryan, we need to be in the same town at some point because that Karate Kid needless commentary needs to happen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We need to knock out the trilogy in one sitting. It'll be a fucking marathon.
Might even have to get into the next Karate Kid. Some swank action.
Oh, man. That's come up before, huh?
Hillary Shank.
Hillary Shank. Hashtag Hillary Shank. All right. Thank you. Thank you both, you guys.
Thanks.
For those that don't know, Hillary Shank is a bit of wordplay that came up a couple of years ago probably on the show, and Jay actually painted a Karate Kid Hillary Shank poster, which I thought was on his website, belligerentmonkey.com, but he might have just done it for us. He might not have shared that one, but if I can track it down, I'll post it on Instagram so you guys can see it, because it's pretty hilarious. And so for a Needless Things in-joke, Hillary Shank, pretty solid. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed our recap of all of the San Diego Comic-Con toys that we found interesting. Next week, I have a very, very special interview that is in a very specific way a part 1. And part 2 is, I won't say it's up in the air, because at this point I feel like it's going to happen. But if it does happen, it is happening at Dragon Con. And that is all I'm going to say for now. You will have to tune in to the Needless Things podcast, which you can find at needlessthingspodcast.com next week, to discover who the subject of this interview is. And it was awesome. I am honored to have spoken with this individual who has accomplished many, many things and done many, many things. So we have that to look forward to. And immediately following, in the next week, we will have Joe and Gary from the Classics track, and then my other Dragon Con track episodes. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Needless Things podcast. You're the best. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Downcast, or in the ears of a Trader Vic's employee. Love you, mean it. Uh-huh.